Now, in studio, we have two very, very interesting guests for you guys. Asta Philpot and Dermot Philpot, his dad. We have actually covered them in a previous story. It was a Nat Geo story, actually, where they were going on a trip to get Asta, well, how shall we put it? Prostitutes. Okay. Now, why? Well, we're going to discuss that now. First, welcome, guys. Welcome,
Thank
Asta.
you. Cheers. Thank you.
Great to have you here. So for the people who didn't see that, let me start with you. And by the way, welcome to Dermot as well, the dad.
Nice to be here.
Okay, great to have you. Asta, so what was the trip about?
The road trip was about me experiencing what the sexual side was in Holland, and obviously the government help people with disabilities out there to have a sexual experience. So I was like, wow, I've got to go see this.
So yeah, in that story, you guys were saying that there's they get a voucher for 12 visits if you're disabled to a brothel.
Yeah.
First of all, that obviously sounds fantastic.
Obviously, yeah.
Right. Now, second of all, you guys live in England, so how do you take advantage of the voucher in Holland? How does that work?
I don't. Only residents of Holland do. I was kind of an advocate going over and seeing what the situation was. But hey, I'd love Britain to start doing the voucher service.
Yeah, I bet you would. I bet you would. All right, now, and in the story, Dermot, you took your son, which a lot of people found to be very interesting. I was supportive of it as you...
Great, I'm so glad you were, and that's why I wanted to come on your show, because it shows me a little bit of support for my son, you know, because under normal circumstances, you know, you're growing up with your children, and... you know, your children grow up and you tell them the facts of life, or they find out themselves, and then, hey-ho, they go off and do their own thing. But with Asta, you know, because of his disability and because there's so many judgments placed upon him when he's in a wheelchair, people have all kinds of judgments about him, you know, and I want to break through all of those because I love him, you know, it's as simple as that.
You know, you just said hey-ho, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, so, did you get speaking of judgment, though, did you get a lot of heat for that from other people, or no?
You know what, I've had a really good reception, I really have, you know. People have been really supportive because they think that I've had the bottle to, the guts to come out and speak for this subject, you know. Because I mean, for me, I'm behind people with disabilities having a loving relationship. And for a lot of people with disabilities, they're trapped.
Yeah, we're also kind of on the moral thing as well, because we don't agree to bad treatment of these girls that are sex workers at all. So I'm kind of on both sides, where I'd like to benefit people with disabilities to have a sexual experience, and I'd like to help the other side, help these people who are serving people, to have a safe experience, you know, because I don't agree to the dark side of it at all. So right. I'm fully clued up.
Yeah, and people are giving you guys grief about that in the story, but I mean, I think that's absurd because if you make it illegal, then
it goes further underground.
Yeah, and then it gets darker and darker, and
Absolutely.
That's when you get really bad experiences. So, Asta, what's your disability?
I've got, get ready,
okay,
arthrogryposis.
Obviously. Okay, I have no idea what that is. Okay. And how old are you?
I'm 28 years old.
You're 28 years old. And so how did you first approach this with your dad, if you did? Hey, you know, Dad, I'd love to get a prostitute. Can you help me out? Did that happen or no?
Do you know what? I've always had an open and loving experience with my mum and dad. We've talked about everything from day one. But I had a week to live. And I'm here now. And, you know, the doctors told my mum and dad, we've booked Asta in a care home. And from that point on, my mum and dad were like, no, he's not going there, you know. So from that journey, I've had 28 beautiful years with my mum and dad. And it's been completely open and, you know. So
you had a week to live when you were born. That's what the doctor said.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I think they were wrong. I don't think they got that one right.
Maybe, yes.
Right. So it seemed to be at least a little bit off there. So when Asta first came to you with the idea, Dermot, did you think, well, of course I should do this? Or were you a little hesitant?
No, I wasn't. I actually went out in the local area. And because in the UK, because it's illegal, they call places where you can go and hook in with a woman. massage parlours. So I went out and checked them out in the local area, and I thought, I'm not bringing my son to any of these places because it's underground. It's had a really seedy vibe, you know. So I kind of put it out of my mind for a while until we ended up on holiday one year in Spain, and we were in an Irish bar, and the landlord in there, Mr. O'Higgins, came over and was just chatting with us, and he came right out of the blue and told us that there was a club on the outside of town called the Eclipse, and he said it was an excellent place to go to, and Asta didn't want to wait, you know, he just wanted to go straight out there, so we went out there, and
it was like
amazing,
Baghdad
you know?
Cafe, you know. It's just like there was steam coming. Well, there might have been steam. It might have just been my eyes. But as soon as I got in there, the women were like, "Woof!" I have never experienced that. And yes, some people might say it's fake, that kind of love. But to me, it's the experience you have right there and then.
Yeah. Well, look, I understand that perfectly. So, how old were you when that happened?
24.
You were 24, and was that the first time you had sexual relationship?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So for me, it was just completely mind-blowing.
And you're like, oh, this is what people have been talking about. Okay, I can get behind this.
And the support of my parents is really important because a lot of people with disabilities don't have that support.
Yeah.
The parents or caregivers don't even realise that they have a need for a sexual experience, and that's what I want to help with.
Because by yourself, you couldn't get out there, right? I mean, maybe I'm seeing it wrong. That's
No,
what I'm
absolutely. I'd need the support.
Yeah, there's no other way of doing it.
No, absolutely.
Right. And how about forming a relationship? Because I know in the Nat Geo piece, somebody was saying, oh, you should form your own relationship, etc. How does that work? Is there other disabled people, non-disabled people that you could form relationships with? How has that worked out for you?
There are, there are people out there. I'm a true believer in your soulmates out there. But when you're in a situation where you're in a wheelchair and you're getting judged every day from society, then it's hard. I don't see how someone who hasn't even been in that arena could come up to me and say, "Well, why don't you just go out and get your own girlfriend, man?" It's just like
easy to say. Yeah.
Kiss my ass, It's just
I like this guy. Kiss my ass. Well, look, I talk about this on the show all the time, which is girls always have this view of like, now I'm way overgeneralizing, but they'll say, "Oh, well, why do you need to do that? Why don't you just go get?" As if it's like the easiest thing in the world to get laid. Like, oh, you just
like
walk into a bar or whatever, and you're like, "Oh, here, I'm right here. Who would like to have sex with me?" Right? It's awfully difficult, right? Under normal circumstances,
Absolutely.
let alone what you got to deal with. Because even if you wanted to go to the bar, you got to have somebody take you to the bar.
There you go.
Right, et cetera, right? So now you guys did the first Spain trip together on the BBC.
Yeah.
Then you did the Amsterdam trip with National Geographic. Now you're going to do a trip inside the U.S., right? So and that's part of the Asta Philpot Foundation.
Yeah.
So tell me about the foundation and what the trip's about.
Okay, the Asta Philpot Foundation is working towards helping people with disabilities have a more positive outlook on their lives because, I thought, well, I've got such a positive outlook on my life and I love my life. So I'm going to create something to help other people. And I'm going to blow this thing wide open. So then I had an idea of trucking around America in an RV, going to all the different states and cities, and saying, look, guys, this is how incredible life can be if you have a disability. And you know what else we're going to do? We're going to help disabled veterans who have come back from the war with a completely changed consciousness and say, life isn't over yet. It can be even more beautiful.
So, I love that philosophy, and I went on your website and I saw you said, look, every day I wake up is, I'm glad to be alive, and it's a wonderful attitude for everybody to have.
There you go, yeah.
So I couldn't agree more with it. Now, so how is that going to, when you go across, are you going to give speeches? Are you going to involve other disabled people? And what are you guys going to do to enjoy life, et cetera? I mean, is the trips with the prostitutes, et cetera, that you did in Europe, is that also going to happen here? Or is it other stuff? Is it together? What is it?
Okay, what's going to happen is we're going to have me and my team and a team of experts in the RV to travel around and give expert advice to people with disabilities that I've coached. Look, they're like Asta agents, but as my Uncle Mark so coolly put it, we're all Astafarians. And so we're going to truck round. And at the end, we're hoping to collate enough information to then create another series and open a centre for people with disabilities and help them out in a more conscious, positive way.
And Dermot, are you guys going to stop in Nevada on the way? Because, you know, I understand there's something going on.
Well, funnily enough, the Chicken Ranch, the world-famous Chicken Ranch, is doing a fundraiser for Asta on the 15th. They're turning over their summer barbecue.
Sin City, yeah.
The Sin City Chamber of Commerce have kindly are fully behind Asta's project. You know.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
They're amazing people. You know, when I walked into the Chicken Ranch, I just had total communication with Debbie, who has run that place for 25 years. What a wonderful person, and they take care of the. You know, there's none of this underhandedness. You know,
there's an online auction as well. Yeah. They're holding an online auction.
Oh, really?
The ladies, a personal. Woohoo! Are holding an online auction for the Asta Philpot Foundation.
Oh, I see.
So you can buy skimpy garments. I mean, you know, let's throw this thing open. Let's get sexy, thing.
Okay, all right. I mean, that's my kind of auction. I'm in. Okay,
but the most incredible thing is we're having a massive foundation launch this Thursday at the Malibu Sunset Restaurant. Michael Nuri's going to host it.
Oh, great.
A load of beautiful musicians, special guest Diarrhoa. It's going to be amazing.
So that's on this Thursday, if you're in the LA area, in Malibu, at the restaurant called Sunset. Okay, so I want to make that clear. And what's the website people can go to?
It's www.astaphilpotfoundation.org.
All right, there you go. And look, finally, guys, I love your cause because first, I love the idea of carpe diem and seize every day, etc. And second of all, if somebody would, you know, told me if I was in your situation, and if I'm not in your situation, if I'm in my situation, somebody says, "Oh no, you're not allowed to have that kind of fun," okay? Because I'm judging you to be immoral, and I'm not going to let you do that. I'd have two words for them: piss off.
There you go.
Okay. And so, and that's the vibe I'm getting from you guys, but in a perfectly friendly and great way, in a positive way. So I can't support your foundation enough, and I want to thank you guys for coming in studio. We really appreciate it.
Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
I love your show. You know, when you did the piece on us originally, you were the only guy that's come along and said, "Hey, what a cool dad," and I had to come here today and just spend some time.
Pay homage to you, man. Absolutely,
I really do,
we love you.
Because you guys tell the truth.
Yeah.
And long may it happen, you know.
All right. Well, I love you for saying that. But so let me give you some love back on that real quick.
Thank you.
Because as I said in the original piece, and it's like, that's what I want out of a dad. That's what I want out of a parent. It's not somebody to judge me, somebody to help me. Okay? Right. And somebody to help me to live life, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think you did a great thing. And if, you know, and I think you know, Asta, if you didn't have a dad who supported you like that, you know, you live a whole different life.
Absolutely.
And so that's to me is the epitome of a parent. So thank you for doing what you did.
And thank you for the love back. Really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you guys for being in the studio. That's a lot of thanks. So we're going to end it right there. And check out the auction. Check out Thursday night. And
come to the party. Are you coming?
I understand. We'll have to put some thought behind that. And check out the Chicken Ranch business as well. Okay. Young Turks.